வணக்கம் மாணவ செல்வங்களே, மீண்டும் உங்களை முப்பரிமாணம் நிகழ்ச்சியில் சந்திப்பதில் மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறேன். இன்றைக்கி நம்ம பார்க்க போகிற லெசன் கிளாஸ் 12 பயோசுவாலஜி சாப்டர் 4 பிரின்சிபிள்ஸ் ஆஃப் இன்ஹெரிட்டன்ஸ் அண்ட் வேரியேஷன், மரபு கடத்தல் கொள்கைகள் மற்றும் மாறுபாடுகள். So this is the name of the lesson, principles of inheritance and variation. So before entering into the concept, we have to know certain things about the genetics, heredity, genes and all those things concept. So first let us understand that concept, then we shall enter into the chapter. First, what is genetics? We have to know what is the meaning for the term genetics. Genetics is the branch of biology that deals with the study of heredity, variation and also about genes. தமிழ்ல சொல்லும்போது genetics என்றால் மரபியல். So it is a branch of science that deals with heredity, மரபு வழி, then variation, வேறுபாடுகள் மற்றும் ஜீன்கள். So இது மூணுத்தை பற்றிய படிக்கிற படிப்புக்கு தான் we call it as genetics. So இந்த definition 2 மார்க்ல கேட்கலாம். Define genetics. It is the branch of biology that deals with the study of heredity, variation and genes. Now let us see what is meant by heredity, variation and what are genes. So how can we define heredity? தமிழ்ல சொல்லும்போது மரபு வழி, பாரம்பரியம் அப்படினு சொல்லுவாங்க. So heredity refers to the transfer of characters from one generation to another generation. So characters தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா பண்புகள், we can also call it as traits. So the transfer of characters from one generation to the next generation is what we call it as heredity. How the characters are transferred from parents to their offsprings, and this process of transfer is what we call it as heredity or inheritance. Heredity can also be called as inheritance. Now let us see what is variation. Variation is the degree by which the progeny differs from their parents. So பெற்றோர்களுக்கும் அவர்களின் பிள்ளைகளுக்கும் உள்ள வேறுபாடு. ஸோ ஒரு பெற்றோருக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 2-3 பிள்ளைகள் பிறந்திருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அந்த 2-3 பிள்ளைகளும் தங்களுக்குள்ளேயே வேற்றுமை இருக்கும். அதே போல் பெற்றோர்கள்கிட்ட இருந்தும் அவங்களுக்கு நிறைய பண்புகளில் வேறுபட்டு காணப்படுவார்கள். ஸோ இந்த வேறுபாடு, that is what we call it as variation. So it is the degree by which the progenies differ from their parents. இதை வேறு மாதிரி கூட சொல்லலாம். So variation is defined as the differences among the individuals of a single species. ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஸ்பீஷீஸில் உள்ள இண்டிவிஜுவல்ஸ் தங்களுக்குள்ளேயே எவ்வளவு வேறுபாடுகள் உள்ளன. So that is what we call it as variation. So ஒருவரை போன்று மற்றொருவர் காணப்படுவதில்லை. இந்த வேற்றுமையை தான் நம்ம we call it as variation. Next, genes. What are genes? தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா மரபணு. So genes are the basic unit of heredity. ஒரு அடிப்படை அலகு, மரபு வழியின் ஒரு அடிப்படை அலகு என்றால் we call it as genes. So genes are the basic units of heredity. This can be asked as a 1-mark question. So where the genes are located? You all know genes are located on the chromosomes. So the place where the genes located is what we call it as locus. The place where the genes are located in a chromosome is what we call it as locus. So a particular chromosome may have one gene or more than one gene. That doesn't matter. So the place where those genes are located is what we call it as locus, and in plural form it is called as loci. So each and every gene has more than one form, that is usually they may have 2 different forms, the alternate forms of a same gene. ஒரே ஜீனுக்கு உள்ள இரு வேறுபட்ட வடிவங்கள், வேறுபட்ட தன்மைகளை தான் நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்லுவோம்னா alleles. The alternate forms of a single gene is what we call it as alleles. So the alleles may be either dominant or it may be recessive. The dominant allele can also be called as a wild allele or a normal allele. Actually dominant allele is normal, it is the wild type and it is the normal type, whereas the recessive one is the one that underwent mutation. திடீர் மாற்றங்கள் ஏற்பட்ட mutation நடந்த allelesக்கு we call it as recessive allele. So gene is the one that carries the information from one generation to next generation, and the different forms of gene is what we call it as alleles. The alleles may be either dominant or recessive. The dominant allele is what we call it as the normal allele, and the recessive allele is what we call it as the mutant allele. And these are all the general things one should keep in their mind before entering this chapter. ஸோ இது வரைக்கும் நம்ம பார்த்தது என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஜெனட்டிக்ஸ் என்றால் என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம், மரபியல் என்றால் என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம். மரபியலோட பல துறைகள், தட் இஸ் ஹெரிடிட்டி என்றால் என்ன, வேரியேஷன் வேறுபாடுகள் என்றால் என்ன, பிறகு ஜீன் என்றால் என்ன என்றதும் பார்த்தோம். ஸோ we have discussed about heredity, variation and also about the genes, alleles and locus. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் நம்ம மனசில் வச்சுக்கிட்டு we can enter into the lesson. So what is the lesson name? Principles of inheritance and variation. ஸோ இந்த பாடத்தில் நமக்கு என்னென்ன மாதிரியான கான்செப்ட்ஸை பற்றி படிக்க போகிறோம், ரைட்? ஸோ என்னென்ன கான்செப்ட்ஸ் இந்த பாடத்தில் இருக்குன்றத ஒரு லிஸ்ட் அவுட் பார்க்கலாம். முன்னாடி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மல்டிபிள் அல்லீலிசம், the second concept is sex determination in animals, then sex linked inheritance, karyotyping, pedigree analysis and finally genetic disorders. So these are the concepts what we are going to discuss in this chapter. Now let us see one by one. First concept is multiple allelism. பல்கூட்டு அல்லீல்கள், multiple alleles, தமிழ்ல பல்கூட்டு அல்லீல்கள். So what is meant by multiple allelism? So நம்ம first genes பத்தி பார்க்கும்போது சொன்னோம், each and every gene has two alternate forms. Every gene has two alternate forms, at least two alternate forms, more than one form. So that is what we call it as alleles, and those alleles will affect only one trait. Whereas there are certain cases, there are certain characters which are controlled by more than two alleles. See, we have to understand clearly. So there will be one character and this one character is affected by two alleles, two different form of alleles. This is the normal condition. Whereas in certain characters, there are certain characters in that one particular character is controlled more than two alleles, controlled by more than two alleles. Either it may be 3 or 4 or whatever it may be, right? So that is what we call it as multiple alleles, and this inheritance is what we call it as multiple allelism. Let us see the definition. When more than two alleles of a gene that control a particular trait occupies the same locus of the homologous chromosome of an organism, then they are called as multiple alleles. See the terminologies: more than two alleles of one particular gene affecting a particular character, and moreover how many number of alleles, that doesn't matter, and all those alleles must locate on the same locus, very nearby locus. ஒரே குரோமோசோம்ல பக்கத்துல மிகவும் நெருக்கமாக அமைந்துள்ள பல அல்லீல்கள் ஒரு பர்టిక్యులர் கேரக்டரை அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணும். So that is what we call it as multiple alleles, and the inheritance of multiple alleles is what we call it as multiple allelism. And the best example for multiple allelism is ABO blood grouping in human being. That is one of the classical example, easily understandable example that can be utilized to study the multiple allelism is ABO blood grouping mechanism. So this definition can be asked as a 2-mark question. Define multiple alleles, they may ask, or what do you mean by multiple allelism? Give an example. Which type of inheritance is noticed in ABO blood grouping in man? So like that they can ask in a different manner. So what is multiple alleles? When more than two alleles of a particular gene controls a particular character and all those alleles must possess in a same locus of the homologous chromosome is what we call it as multiple alleles. Next, so you all know multiple allele example நம்ம என்ன பார்த்தோம்னா blood group. So நம்மளோட blood group பார்த்தீங்கன்னா different types of blood groups நமக்கு இருக்கு, right? So we have 4 basic types of blood group: A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and also O blood group. So there are 4 basic categories of blood group. So and each and every person differs in their blood group. For example, if I am having B blood group, my brother is having A positive, my father is having B positive. Like that each and every person may differ in their blood group. And what is the reason for this difference in their blood group? Right? So this blood group, the alleles of this blood group, there are 3 alleles of the gene, there are 3 alleles of a gene controlling this particular character. So blood group is a single character, determination of blood group is a one character, that is single character which is controlled by 3 different alleles: allele A, allele B and null allele, that is O. So if a person has A blood group, then he has A allele. If a person has B blood group, then he has B allele. Whereas if a person has AB blood group, then he is having both A allele as well as B allele. Whereas if the person is a O blood group person, then he has neither A allele nor B allele. So that is why he is indicated as O blood group person, right. So what does it mean? So if there is A allele, then the person will produce A antigen. So antigens are nothing but the proteins. Antigens are nothing but the proteins. So they call it as எதிர்பொருள் தூண்டிகள். So அந்த எதிர்பொருள் தூண்டிகள், so IA allele, for example, A allele will produce A antigen, B allele will produce B antigen. If a person is having AB blood group, then both the alleles, that is A allele as well as B allele, both will produce both the antigens. Whereas if it is a O blood group, then there won't be any sort of antigens. That is why we call it as a O blood group person. And all these alleles control only one character. So that is why we call it as a multiple allelism. So recall that definition. So if more than two alleles control one triad, then it is said to be a multiple allelism. Here the blood group is a single character which is controlled by more than two alleles, that is 3 alleles are involved in controlling the or determining the blood group of a person. All these alleles are located in chromosome number 9. The genes for these 3 different forms of alleles is named as isoagglutination, indicated by the alphabet I. So it is denoted as IA, that is isoagglutination A, IB, isoagglutination B, then IO, isoagglutination O. So the gene is indicated by the letter I, and the I stands for isoagglutination. So if a blood group person is there, then what will be the gene he is having? He will be having IA gene. And what will be the antigen he will be having? Antigen A. So for B blood group, the gene is IB and the antigen is antigen B. Whereas for O blood group person, the IO will be present. There won't be any sort of A or B. So IO will be present and there won't be any sort of antigen. Whereas for AB person, AB blood group, he will be having both A antigen and B antigen. So it is denoted by the symbol IA and IB, and the antigens both A and B will be present in its RBC. So on all these, one thing you have to know, and these antigens, that is either A antigen or B antigen or AB antigen or O antigen, all these antigens are present on the surface of the RBCs. You know, RBCs are the red blood cells and they are responsible for carrying the oxygen due to the presence of hemoglobin. And these RBCs on their surface contains these antigens, and these antigens determine the blood group of a person. So the antigens, antigen A, antigen B, then antigen O and antigen AB, all these antigens, particularly the antigen A and antigen B was first discovered by Karl Landsteiner. He is the first person to take initial steps to describe and discover the different types of blood group present in the human body. So that is why he is celebrated as the father of the blood groups. So one mark question can be asked, who is called as the father of blood groups? Karl Landsteiner, and he was the person who discovered antigen A and antigen B on the human RBCs. So look at this image, we can able to see blood cells of different types of persons. So in first picture we can able to see blood type A. So we can able to see the antigen A on its surface, whereas in blood group B we can able to see a B antigen on its surface. If you see AB RBC, we can able to see both the antigens. So that is indicated by a yellow symbol as well as a blue symbol. So both the antigens are present in the RBCs, whereas in the RBCs of the O blood group person, there is no A antigen as well as there is no antigen B, that is devoid of antigens, right. And this is another chart showing the different types of antigens in the blood group and also different types of antibodies. So we have to know. So now we know that antigens are present on the surface of the antibodies. Likewise, there are antibodies against those antigens. For example, if I am having A blood group, then the antigen present in my body is A antigen. Similarly, my blood plasma will contains antibody B. So look at this chart, you can able to easily understand. So Group A contains A antigen, but the blood plasma contains antibody B. So if you see the group B blood group person, the blood group contains B antigen, whereas the antibodies are A antibodies present in the blood plasma. If you see AB blood group person, both the antigens A as well as B, both are present on the surface of RBCs, whereas there won't be any sort of antibodies. And finally, O blood group person never has both A antigen as well as B antigen. So there won't be any sort of antigens. So as a result, both the antibodies will be present in the O blood group. So that is why, because of the absence of any sort of antigens, O blood group person can donate it to everybody. So a O blood group person is free to donate his blood to most of the people. That is why O blood group people are called as universal donor. Why? Because O blood group person do not have any antigens. As a result, there won't be any sort of agglutination, clotting, blood clotting என்றது நமக்கு நடக்காது. So அப்படி இருக்கும் பொழுது O blood group person யாருக்கு வேணாலும் நமக்கு blood donate பண்ண முடியும். So that is why they are called as universal donor. பொது கொடையாளர்கள், தமிழில் சொல்லும் பொழுது பொது கொடையாளர்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. whereas AB blood group, so AB blood group பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் it has both the antigens A and B, but there is no antibody, so they can receive blood from. So யார்கிட்ட இருந்து நமக்கு blood வாங்கினாலும் அவங்களுக்கு coagulation நடக்காது. ஏன்னா antibodies இல்லாததுனால coagulation, that is blood clotting என்றது நடக்காது. So they can receive blood from anybody. So that is why they are called as universal recipients, right? So பொது பெறுநர், தமிழில் சொல்லும்போது பொது பெறுநர் அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க, right? So this can also be called asked as 1 mark question, right? So which blood group is called as universal donor and universal recipient? O blood group is called as universal donor because they don't have any sort of antigen, whereas blood group AB is called as universal recipient because they don't have any sort of antibodies, right? So the question can be asked like this: O blood group is called as universal donor, justify your statement. So like this they can ask 2 mark questions, right? Next, what is the gene mechanism behind this antigen production, right? Let us see in detail, and this can be expected in 3 mark or 2 mark question, right? So look at the content clearly. IA, that is isoagglutination A allele, produces a enzyme. ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட நொதியை produce பண்ணுது. என்ன நொதி? N-acetyl galactose transferase. And this is the enzyme. N-acetyl galactose transferase is a type of enzyme produced by the allele IA. And what is the purpose of this enzyme? This enzyme makes the substance NAG, N-acetyl galactose, that is a carbohydrate, and that N-acetyl galactose can be combined with the precursor substance, H substance, we call it as H substance, or simply we can say precursor, that is the antigen precursor. So this antigen precursor is combined with NAG, that is N-acetyl galactose carbohydrate, with the help of this enzyme NAG transferase. So when this combination occurs, then the antigen going to produce this antigen A, and obviously the person is also going to get the A blood group, and this is how a person is getting the A blood group, right? So in case of B blood group, so look at the image. So IB, that is isoagglutination B allele, produces the enzyme galactose transferase. This is another enzyme which is specifically produced only by the B allele. And this enzyme, what it is doing? It is combining the galactose to the precursor. See, compare this with the A allele. So A allele for antigen A, NAG is combined with precursor by NAG transferase, whereas in this case galactose is combining with precursor with the help of galactose transferase. So because of this combination, that is precursor plus galactose in the presence of galactose transferase, we get the product antigen B. So the blood group of the person is going to be B blood group. Whereas in case of O allele, the gene O, IO, so they are not going to produce any sort of enzymes because there is no allele. So there is no enzyme. So as a result, no antigen formation occurs. That is why we call IO allele as a null allele. So this can be asked, specifically asked. as 2 mark. IO allele is called as a null allele. Comment on the statement. This can be asked. Why? Because IO allele does not going to produce any sort of enzymes. So, as a result of a non-production of the enzyme, there is no production of antigens. That is why they are called as null alleles. IO allele is called as a null allele. Whereas in case of AB, imagine in case of AB, both the alleles will produce both the enzymes, and both the enzymes will lead to the combination of NAG as well as galactose to the precursor, producing antigen A and as well as antigen B. So, this is the gene mechanism. This is the mechanism or the technology or the mechanism behind the ABO blood grouping concept. Next, dominance hierarchy. Which is the dominant allele and which is the recessive allele. So, whatever it may be, if you see a gene, already we have discussed, each and every gene has 2 alternate forms minimum. If more than alternate forms, then it is said to be a multiple alleles, right. So, here we are studying about multiple alleles. So, 3 alleles are involved in the production of ABO blood group. So, what are the 3 alleles we know? A allele IA, B allele IB and O allele null allele IO. So, IA is called as dominant allele, and on the same sense IB is also called as dominant allele. Idu rendu ongu allelgal, whereas IO is called as odungu allele. This is a recessive allele. So, that is why we call it as IA and IB are co-dominant to each other, whereas IO is a complete recessive. So, this can be asked as a 1 mark. So, IA equals to IB, that indicates both A and B are co-dominant, whereas comparing this with IO, IO is completely recessive for both A as well as B. That is why the formula is indicated as IA equals to IB, which is greater than IO. This is the correct dominant hierarchy for the human blood group ABO. So, children, so we have discussed about the different types of antigens which are involved in the determination of ABO blood group. Likewise, there is another antigen, what is called as RH factor, rhesus factor. So, this is the expansion, RH refers to rhesus factor, which is commonly called as antigen D, and this is also a protein which is present on the surface of the RBCs. And this RH factor was first discovered in the rhesus monkey, that is Macaca rhesus. So, you can see the picture of the monkey in the slide. So, and this is the rhesus monkey, and in that blood group, in the monkey's blood, Landsteiner and Wiener, they both discovered the presence of a special antigen, what is called as antigen D, and the same antigen was also found in the blood group of human beings, and they named it as RH antigen or antigen D or RH factor. So, those persons who are having RH factor are called as RH positive, and those persons who do not possess this RH antigen, that is the antigen D, they are called as RH negative. And most particularly RH factor is inherited only as a dominant trait, 1 mark question. So, RH factor is always inherited as a dominant trait, and it will not be inherited as a recessive trait. And moreover, RH factor, usually if a person is possessing RH positive or RH negative, that does not matter whether he possesses the antigen or not, there is no antibodies in a person's blood. So, for example, if my blood group is A positive, that is I am having A antigen and also I am having antigen D. So, I am having antigen D, but I will not be having any sort of antibodies against antigen D. Likewise, if some other person is having A negative, he is having A blood group, A antigen, but not having the RH factor. At that time, he also does not possess antibody D. So, in general, there is no antibodies for antigen D in a normal person's blood. So, and this picture shows a clear explanation of different types of blood groups based on antigen as well as antibodies. So, 8 different blood groups, O positive, A positive, B positive and AB positive. Likewise, O negative, A negative, B negative and AB negative. So, those negative indicates that there is no antigen D, whereas positive symbol indicates that there are antigen D, that is RH factor is present. So, regarding this RH factor, so many theories have been proposed where these alleles are located. So, 2 people, Fisher and Race, they proposed that this RH factor is determined by 3 different pairs of alleles located on a chromosome 1. Alleles for the Rh factor is located on chromosome 1. That is a 1 mark question can be asked. So, Rh factor is located on chromosome 1 and these Rh factors are controlled by 3 different pairs of alleles. And the mechanism followed by Fisher and Ray's hypothesis is CDE mechanism. And according to this hypothesis, whoever the person who is having the capital D, that is the dominant D, is going to produce Rh positive blood group, and those people who are having a recessive condition, that is double recessive, look at the condition double recessive, always in a double recessive the Rh negative will be exhibited. So, those who are having double recessive condition will have the Rh negative blood group. So, likewise similar to the Fisher and Ray's hypothesis, there is another hypothesis proposed by the person Weiner. So, Weiner, according to Weiner's concept, there are 4 pairs, that is 8 alleles. So, in Fisher and Ray's hypothesis, there are 3 pairs of alleles involved in the Rh factor determination, whereas in case of Weiner's hypothesis, there are 8 alleles, that is 4 pairs of alleles are involved in the determination of Rh factor. So, in the slide we can able to notify, so 4 dominant alleles R1, R2, R0, RZ, whereas another 4 recessive alleles R, R1, R11 and RY. So, 8 alleles, 4 different pairs of alleles are involved in the determination of Rh factor, and all those people carrying the dominant R, that is the capital R, the dominant form, going to produce the Rh positive, and those people who are having the lower case, that is the recessive condition, is going to be having the negative form, that is the Rh negative. So, children, today we have discussed a lot about the concept of blood group, a human blood group, that is A antigen, B antigen and AB antigen, also about the null allele O antigen, and also we discussed about the Rh factor in detail. Let us meet in the next class.